Hey everyone, my name is Sunny Rogers. I'm an Emerald Ambassador with Plexus. A little bit about me, I live in Arkansas. I just recently moved from North Little Rock, Arkansas to Searcy, so if you see the bare walls behind me, it's because I just moved in. If it's echoing a little, it's probably because it's pretty empty. But I wanted to, just let you know a little bit about my story. I started in November 2014. I kind of jumped in this thing. I saw my friend posting about it, and she was saying how it was working really well for her, and I'd watched her for a long time and read a lot of her posts. I didn't really understand why I was so captivated by them, but I kept reading them, and eventually she posted something with her jumping in front of her car, that she had paid off her car a whole year early, and I thought, whoa, getting out of debt, that sounds awesome. And I was also super tired. I was a social worker. And I would work all day and come home and take a nap and watch some Netflix and then eat something, and then I would watch some more Netflix and then go back to bed and do it all over again. And I was tired, and I'm young. I was 25, I think, at the time, and I was too young to be that tired. So I decided that I would try this pink drink thing, and if it worked at all, I was willing to post about it. I had next to no belief that it would go anywhere, or even really that it would work. I mean, I trusted my friend Jessica, so I was like, it at least works for some people. I knew this much. So I tried it. Within 3 days, I was waking up fully rested before my alarm. It was awesome. And the journey obviously got better as I continued on the triplex. So November 2014, I just kind of was dabbling. I made my very first post right off the bat. Just like, hey, I'm trying this Plexus thing. If you want to join me, you're welcome to. I think I said, I'm starting this Plexus thing. I'm curious to see what all the hype is about. I'll keep you posted. I didn't even really invite people, but I didn't even know what I was doing, but it was actually pretty brilliant in the long run, is I was inviting people to watch me. Watch this unfold and see how it works. And it worked. I'm one of those people that I was not going to post unless I knew that it worked, and it absolutely did. And so November, I didn't really do a whole lot in November, just talked to a few people, and then the end of December, the end of my first full month, I went silver. And then exactly a year after that, to the date, I went emerald, which I'm super excited about, but I'm so ready for sapphire. Been working and building toward that, and so it's been a fun journey. And I think a lot of the journey sort of comes to, I should tell you more about my journey. So that full-time social work job I was able to quit my full-time job just a few months ago to do what I want to do, which is awesome. I kind of retired myself very early. It was a scary, nerve-wracking decision. Talk about belief. I had to put a lot of belief in Plexus and in my business. And I knew it was just the right move. It was the smartest move for me to take, because I have more time for my team and I have more time to do what I love, which in just a few days I'm going to be teaching at Harding University in the social work department. So I still get to do social work, which is my heart, but I also get to do social work within Plexus. I'm going to talk a little bit about that because I think that we can't get away from our own emotions, which is a lot of what social work is about. Getting to know who we are and who the people are around us and working well with them. So a little bit about belief. I think some of this is probably going to be stuff you guys have already heard. Some of you may be new. Welcome. So glad you joined the Plexus train. Some of this may be brand new to you, and some of you are like, yeah, I've heard this before. But I think belief is hugely motivated and built by the work that you put in. You have to watch training videos. You just have to. You have to answer your own skeptical questions. Because if you have a skeptic ask you the same thing you don't have an answer to, your belief goes down the drain. You have to do the research to really dig down and answer your own questions. And I can't speak to those because I don't know what all of your skepticism is. For me, it was about the compensation plan. Did I believe that they were doing something good for me? Did I believe that the products really worked? And after I started hearing testimonies from people I knew and I loved, unshakable belief. You can't shake that out of me if you tried. Trust me, people have tried and people will try. I promise you. People have all sorts of opinions. There's all sorts of crazy websites out there with people claiming that they know things. But I will tell you, when you find 3 testimonies that absolutely make you cry because you know how much it's impacted their life, it doesn't matter at all what any other hater or skeptic or crazy uncle who's mean to you says. It doesn't matter. You know that is their truth. So like, find those testimonies that really speak to you, whether it's something personal. Like for me, my friend Ryan, it really spoke to me that she was going to an oncologist monthly to get infusions because she was deficient. Her body was not hanging on to the nutrients or getting the nutrients that it needed. So she had to go have an injection. They would draw her blood, find out exactly what it was that she needed, and then they would infuse her. She took pictures every time she had her Coke can with her, and she was hooked up to an IV and just infusing her with the nutrients that she needed to survive. Her body was shutting down on her. And when she went back the next month after starting Triplex, she didn't have to have them anymore. Now, that's not something that's compliant for us to say. We can't just post that all over our Facebook wall. But I know that deep in my core that is blood work, that is real, that is not something that any skeptic can take away from her, and they can't take it away from me either. So I encourage you to find those 3 testimonies that make you cry. On that same crying bit, I encourage you to find the why that makes you cry. Your why cannot be, I want to make enough to cover my products. That's a great goal, but to me, that's not a why. What would it mean to you to be able to get your products paid for free? What else could you do with that extra money that you couldn't have done before? How is that going to really impact your life? Like, stop and think what it would mean to you, to your family, to your community, for you to have the income of an Emerald. Approximately $10,000 a month. What would that mean to you? I mean, if you think about that for very long, it's probably going to make you cry. Because when you face that, you're asking yourself, man, yeah. Like, depending on what your color personality is, you're like, man, I'm going to pay off my debt. And I'm gonna open up a nonprofit that's going to impact my entire community, probably even my state. And I'm going to be able to donate $3,000 checks to organizations that are helping children's research for leukemia. That was a reality for me. That was a dream come true. I am getting out of debt. I should be out of debt by the end of this year, which is huge because I had like $60,000 worth of debt. Okay. And with that opens up so much freedom. And I am like, blah, blah, blah. What does this have to do with belief? Well, when you have that in your core, you will push past negativity that's going to hinder and really hurt your belief. So find the why that makes you cry. Find 3 testimonies that make you cry. If you're a dude and you don't cry all that often, you probably should. I'm in full agreement that men should also cry. But if you're a dude listening to this and you're like, I don't cry. Okay, well, find things that make you pumped up to go tell people about it. Your why and your 3 testimonies. Something also, I don't know, you guys have probably heard about this. I'm probably repeating myself or repeating what others have told you. Feel, felt, found is really important. I understand how you feel. I felt the same way when I started, but when I did my research, this is what I found. And Plexus is not a pyramid scheme like what everyone thinks it is. And that has to come from your own research. You have to know it in your core, those questions that skeptics are going to bring to you. But using the feel, felt, found method helps people to not be so aggressive because you're not in a fight, you're not in a struggle. You're more just letting them know what you know and letting them know that you hear them, which is so important. I encourage you also to listen to or watch as many diamond documentaries as you can get your hands on. Those are so powerful because it helps you dream appear. It helps your goals that are like, yeah, okay, maybe someday I'll get a Lexus. But seeing people's dreams come true, that just does something to our noggins. Switch on Your Brain is a good book that explains what that positive thinking does to you and helps you put your dreams and your aspirations in the forefront, so you're not getting hung up in negative thoughts. So that leads me into the last part of what I want to talk about. Before I go back, or before I move forward, let's go back to your testimonies, your why. I really encourage you to have an elevator speech. Know what you say to people when they say, hey, what's this Plexus stuff you're trying? Imagine someone asking you that in the nastiest, most condescending, most you're an idiot tone. Imagine them asking you and then you giving the most confident answer back. And I need you to practice that. I need you to practice that in your mirror. I need you to practice that with your mama. Well, maybe she's a skeptic. I don't know. But you need to practice that with someone you know and love and who you trust that can give you some positive feedback or negative feedback, positive criticism about what you're saying and how you're saying it. You don't want to get too jargony and like, blah, 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 all the ingredients and the details, and people are like, that's too much. Now, if you've got a green personality, again, I'm talking about these color personalities. If you haven't read or listened to Big Al's 4 color personalities, that is huge for your business, for recruiting, for understanding people in your life, for understanding your teammates, and for understanding yourself. Anyway, so I'm mentioning yellow and green and blues and reds for that reason. So read that for sure. That also can help build your belief in your team, because just because they're functioning a little bit different than you might doesn't mean that they're not motivated. They're just motivated by different things than you may be. And so really tapping into that is going to help you all around. The Shield of Confidence is also, I think, something that's really important. You could probably search for that, look that up. Basically, when someone comes at you, tell me the difference between Advocare and Plexus. Oh man, they have so many products, and some of them are just so great. Some of them are not so great. Again, a lot of it is personal choice. But if you want to get caught up in doing all that research, you're going to overwhelm yourself. So the Shield of Confidence says, you know what, I don't know a whole lot about what's going on with Advocare, but what I do know is we have great products. We have a 60-day money-back guarantee, and I know they work because here's my personal testimony. And another thing about belief, you don't have to have your own huge, amazing wellness testimony in order to be able to do this. I, for one, am the perfect example of that. I didn't have some huge illness that I was trying to overcome. But again, I have my 3 testimonies that make me cry that I can lean back on. I tell my story, which is nice. I got some more sleep. I have some more energy. My GI health's a little bit better. I can talk about that stuff. But then when I talk about the big hitters, that's when it really hits home for me and others. So use the Shield of Confidence. Use all of those things. Have those things organized in your mind. Be confident when you speak to people. Be confident when you speak to them about the prices of this and how it's totally worth the amount that we charge, because our products are super cheap in comparison to most other companies. So use that also. Be confident, and you have to be building your own belief. And that means watching videos daily. That means answering your own skeptical questions and being honest with yourself about how skeptical you are, and not being afraid to reach out to people to say, hey, I just have this doubt about this certain thing and I really need some help working through that. Don't think that you have to do it alone. Ask someone for help. Okay, so my very last thing to talk about is emotional intelligence. And I'm kind of passionate about it for a lot of reasons. I'm a social worker, and I think emotions are important. I think that knowing who you are is a tool that is powerful, and I think knowing what makes other people tick is incredibly powerful in this business. Knowing how your team works and how you work is nothing but an amazing tool. So I have the book Emotional Intelligence 2.0. In the back of it, you cut it open and it's got a code in there for you to be able to take a quiz that tells you a little bit about your own emotional intelligence. If you answer the questions honestly, you're going to do great. But if you answer it like, oh, I'm perfect and I'm always nice to people, well, then it's not going to help you that much. But this book is wonderful. It breaks it down into different types of emotional intelligence. And I think, why does this tie back into belief? Well, for me, it ties into belief because if you get into your own head, whatever negative thing you have going on, it's really easy to get caught in a trap. And that trap tells you, oh, I'll just do that call later. I'm not feeling it right now. Or, I just got rejected by my 13th person. I just don't think I can face that again. Emotional intelligence will ask you to pay attention to what's going on in your head so that you don't let it rule you before you realize it. And so that's why I think it's so important to belief, because those negative thoughts can attack your belief without you even realizing it unless you're paying attention. So I think emotional intelligence is huge, and so does the business community. Emotional intelligence is the #1 predictor for professional success and personal excellence. It's even higher than IQ on the list of importance. And I would say that emotional intelligence is more important than any particular wording that you may have, or any particular system or daily method of operation or anything like that. It's what makes you effective in talking with people and in talking with yourself. And actually, they said that every point that you go up on the EQ, the emotional intelligence scale, adds an average of $1,300 in annual salary each year, like just on average. At $1,300, that's huge. That means it's very marketable, and it makes you more moldable and flexible to work this business. So some of the important aspects of emotional intelligence are empathy, social awareness, self-management, and self-awareness. Another thing is, if you feel like you're doing everything right and you're reaching out to certain people the right way each day, you're reaching out to 3, but it's just not working, emotional intelligence might be where you need to focus to be able to build your belief in how you're reaching out, how you're connecting with people. Or maybe you're not connecting with people, and maybe that's the problem. Maybe you're sending them a blank message that you've sent to the last 30 people and you just pop their name in and it's not personal to them. And maybe that's really killing your business and in turn killing your belief. So I encourage you to look into emotional intelligence. I'm not going to break down all of them, but it really encourages you to check yourself before you wreck yourself. Let's see. The good thing about emotional intelligence is that it's moldable. IQ is not something we can really change. It is what it is, and our personalities are what they are. But emotional intelligence is moldable. It's changeable. So self-awareness, for one, is asking you to stop trying to bring meaning to every good and every bad mood you have, every good or every bad interaction you have with someone. Seriously, this business is a roller coaster. You will feel like you're doing this all the time. And you know what? If you're doing this all the time, you're doing it right. Because if you do this and you stop, your roller coaster is broken, and your belief is broken, and your business is broken, and it's really hard to get back after you've completely stopped. The point and what makes it powerful is when you keep rolling through the emotions that come every day working this business. Because when we're asking ourselves to reach out to people and tell them about something we care and love and feel super passionate about, we're asking ourselves to be super vulnerable. That's some scary stuff. and we really need to know who we are in order to be able to deal with that and not let it turn into a shame blanket that we get put in if someone turns us down. Don't let that hurt your belief. If you feel like things aren't going well right now, that's totally normal. That happens to all of us. The goal is to keep moving forward. Keep watching your videos, keep listening to testimonies, keep going to meetings and getting people to meetings. If you have not been to a meeting, find one in your area. Find an online meeting at the very least. Get to meetings. They build so much belief. There's something very different about hearing someone in person tell their testimony than it is to see it on a video. I think the videos are super powerful, but there's something about watching a person cry in real life in front of you that just changes a person, okay? I encourage you to get to meetings. And without taking too much more of your time, I'll just give you a preview of emotional intelligence a little bit more. So self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management are some of the things that we talk about often in emotional intelligence circles. Self-management, take care of yourself, eat right, sleep right. Thanks, Plexus, it helps a lot. But really take care of yourself. Laugh, have fun. If you're constantly being hit with negativity, that's going to make your mood pretty crappy and it's going to affect your belief. Unfortunately, when we're having a bad day, unless we pay attention to it, it can really affect our entire lives, like our business, our kids, our work, whatever. So pay attention to that. Social awareness. Think about the person who is the waitress or waiter that you're working with at a restaurant, and they come up to your table and they just like click with you. They just like pick up on your emotion and they're just like shooting off funny things and getting along really well with you. Or if you're the person who's like, don't talk to me, just take my order, they pick up on that too. Those kind of people have really great social awareness. And I think a lot with Plexus when we're talking with people is being socially aware of the cues that people are giving us. If you can see on their face that they're like, I don't want your candles, lady. You know, like, you just have to be aware of that and maybe realize that right now is just touch 1. I'll have to get back with her on touch 3, 5, 7, 9, however many times it takes to make her feel more comfortable about this and not so in defense. So this book will teach you a little bit about social awareness. It's a huge, powerful skill in directing your team and in recruiting people. And that's also where being aware of how people are reacting to your elevator speech. You may want to tweak your elevator speech to make it a little less intimidating, or if you get that deer in the headlights look from a lot of people, maybe there's something in there that's like intimidating or very jargony, and you want to make it a little more personable or not quite so intense. And then also, relationship management will also be in the emotional intelligence book. It's so helpful. It helps you to tackle tough stuff that comes up in our teams, to not let that drag us down. There's going to be tough times. There's going to be things that we're going to have to deal with that we don't necessarily want to. There's going to be people quit. Ugh, that hurts. That never feels good. We never like for someone to give up on something that we believe in wholeheartedly and we think will really help them. And that could really take a toll on our belief if we let it. But again, it's all a part of that roller coaster of people coming and going. We just have to be moving forward constantly. Don't get caught back there with that person. They're not worth it. Your business is not worth it. And the people who still need these products need you to keep moving. If you just stop, they're never going to get it. And that's sad to think about. So there's so much more, but I'm really not going to take much. I'm not going to take any more of your time. I hope that you get the chance to take the emotional intelligence quiz, and then read the book. And then also this one, StrengthsFinder 2.0, it has the same sort of quiz in the back, and it gives you, this quiz is really intense, but it gives you the top 5 of your skills, and it teaches you some things about what's your adaptability, or what's your skill, and then some ideas for action, which has been really helpful in my team also. And I think I think any kind of knowledge you have like this is just going to really help you in your business. Knowing yourself, knowing others can help you get through the tough times in the business. And I hope this is helpful. I would love to hear some feedback from you guys once you are able to watch it. And I hope you have a good day, and go out there and change some people's lives, because you have that power. Bye, guys.